Weekly, GarageBand Weekly, GarageBand Weekly. Need an answer to your question? John, you'll have a suggestion. He's a fountain of all knowledge. I think he might have gone to GarageBand College. What he doesn't know, we'll try and find out. So join the chat and give him a shout. Hey, John. Hey, John. GarageBand Weekly.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome into GarageBand Weekly for yet another week. My name's Pete Johns, and for the next hour or so, we'll be chatting about all things GarageBand, Logic Pro, Apple, home recording, the music industry, AI, dare I say. I'm sure it'll come up. It always does, unfortunately. If you are here live and you've got any questions, all you need to do is chuck a Q in the chat and ask me your question. We are interactive around here, so I wanted to put that out there on Front Street. You can also go to the link at the top there. Yes, this show is sponsored by me and my GarageBand FAQ, studiolive today.com/GarageBand for everything you need to know about GarageBand, and there's even a link into the Logic Pro stuff there too. We are going to take a dive into my new song. If you caught the Creator Town Hall last week, you would have seen I did a 90-minute full-on recording session. I'll talk a little bit about that and some of the learnings that I had after doing that. My first sort of big recording session in Logic for a while, or in anything for a while, so we'll chat about that. I'll show you the song. We'll do a little bit of work on that, and of course, as we do each and every week, we got some news and notes to talk about with you here today, which we'll dive into in just a jiffy. Should we say g'day to the folks who are here live? Welcome aboard to Alexander Dean Francis. Hello to CGW. Let's go with that. Wonderful moderator Thomas Christ. Emilio, g'day to you. Dave Pops, hello to you. Al Davis is here. G'day to the Leelaverse. Mark Bro, sup bro. Trevor Bear, hello once again. Hello to Sol Orak. Hope you are doing all very, very well and having a good old time. We are going to dive into things and talk about news and notes. And guess what? Just when you thought it was safe to go to bed and that you wouldn't wake up to any more new Apple products, what do Apple go and do? They go and release the brand new AirPods Max 2. Yes, new colors. That's it. Apparently better quality, better fidelity audio, better dynamic range is what they're saying about these. So if you missed out on this, the AirPods Max, Apple's here in Australia, $750 headphones, which if you want these, if you need these, you're either very well off in the cash department, or you desperately want the best, or you want to flex on people. You want to walk around being that doofus that wears his AirPods Max everywhere. That's not me, by the way. I'm an AirPods in-ear guy. I don't go the Max. I'm very much an in-ear. Like I do a lot of walking around, and in my pocket are always my AirPods Pro. What are these ones? The Pro 3, I believe. I can't recall. So what's new about these? Yeah, there you go. Even more enhanced ANC, active noise cancelling, that is, enhanced sound quality, and new features like adaptive audio and live translation. And by releasing these and having a release date of these in April, this is basically telling us that the 28.4 is going to have to be just around the corner, because to do the auto translation and the live translation features, that's not coming till iOS and iPadOS 28.4. It's 26.4, my goodness. So there's all the things that you've got. Studio quality audio recording. I mean, allows interviews, podcasts, singers, and other creators to record their content with high quality audio and natural vocal texture. All right, are you going to ask me the question, should you use your AirPods Max for mixing, mastering, recording? Are these studio headphones? No. And I've tried them. So Apple got very excited. They added a new feature where you can plug in directly via USB-C and you can plug them directly into your Mac, and they basically become completely lossless, perfect, pristine, high dynamic range audio. And I tried it and I'm like, still sounds like AirPods Max. So the bass response you get from them is really good, and they are great for listening to music. There is no denying that. But they don't give you the natural tone that you're looking for. Studio monitors, if you're buying a pair of headphones for the studio, they should be as flat of a dynamics response as possible. The frequency curve on them should be a straight line, preferably, or at least not boosting frequencies. And unfortunately, your Beats by Dre, your AirPods Max, they are boosting frequencies just by the pure nature of it. And the same with your in-ears. They are boosting frequencies, and you're going to find that if you listen to your music using these sort of headphones and then you translate that, play them on speakers, play them in the car, etc., your bass especially is going to be all out of whack because you're going to be hearing a lot more. You then play it on a system that's got a more balanced sound, the bass goes away. Have you had this before? Have you experienced this? Yeah. So you want flat response as possible, and that's not what these are for. But they are pretty and they're nice. So yeah, that is the news out of Apple. We've got that right. Exactly. Forget your MacBook Neos. Forget your iPhone Folds. We've all been waiting for the AirPods Max. We kind of, I joke, but we kind of have. They haven't been updated. When were they released? Where's our Emilio's usually on the ball with this sort of stuff. I'll see who will win. Will Google or Emilio tell me? AirPods Max release original release date. They were released on wasn't 2020, was it? The original. Have they only been around since 2020? $549 price tag. I could have sworn that the AirPods Max have been, I suppose that's 6 years. So the only upgrade they've had in 6 years. See, I think 2020, that was like yesterday. But no, 2020 was 6 freaking years ago, which is crazy. So yeah, December of 2020, they were released, and then they were semi-updated in 24, when they added the USB-C to them. So there you go. There is your Apple new device, new product, and it's weird because we had the big week of Apple where they released everything: the MacBook Neo, the iPhone 17e, the iPad Air 4, the iPad Air M4, sorry, and the MacBooks Pro and Air with the Pro. Oh man, there's so much going on. Indeed, you can. You can find all of that. You can find all of the great studio headphones and all of my other gear recommendations. StudioLiveToday.com/gear. Have I listened to something with Spatial Audio? Is it Spatial Audio? Yes, I have. So Apple Music, and look, it's good. I won't say that it's not good. I've tried mixing in Spatial in Dolby Atmos before. I got in trouble for that one because someone that knows a lot more about it than I do, told me off for daring to try to simplify it and show folks how it worked without knowing a heap about it. But yeah, Spatial Audio is actually pretty rad. If you have so most of your more modern AirPods support it. Even your Mac speakers will do Spatial Audio. So I think you've got a MacBook Pro Tremor Bear. If you fire up Apple Music, you can see with some of them, there's a little tag that says Spatial. I can't play any of it here because I'll get copyright content ID claims. But if you're searching through most of your modern releases, some older stuff are being remixed in Spatial, which can be pretty cool. I think we need like Dark Side of the Moon remastered. With all the remastering that's going on these days, we need a lot of those. I think, was it OK Computer, I think. At least a couple of Radiohead albums have been redone in Spatial Audio, and it is good. The first time you listen to Spatial Audio, you're like, oh, okay. This is what audio should sound like, because you got your front and your back and your left and your right. It's like the first time you listen to like Dolby 5.1 and you're like, I can hear them running behind me with the rear speakers. It's like kind of like that with Spatial Audio. But then after a while, I don't know. For me, the novelty wore off and I'm like, stereo is fine. I like stereo, and so yeah, I don't generally listen to it. Plus, the Spatial Audio does weird things. Have you ever used I turn it off immediately, but there's a thing where if you're watching, say, a movie on your phone and you move it, the audio moves with it, so it thinks it's in the spot where it is. It's horrible, because if you're listening to music, you put your song on, you put your phone in your pocket, and suddenly the musical goes over into whatever ear the side of your pocket is. And I was like, oh, that's awful. Sofa King Spatial, awesome. Yeah, a nice settee, a nice spatial lounge. Alrighty. There you go. Was released outside of the US in 2021. There you go. So yeah, released in the US in December of 2020, came to the rest of the world in 2021. Hello to you, Gary. Hello, Joel. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, look, we do need the new Apple desktops, don't we? I mean, we got the little taste of it with the Mac Mini, with the M5, 5. Oh man, it's hard to keep track of all this stuff. We definitely will, because the Mac Studio hasn't been updated since the one I got, which is the M2. Is that still the case, or did it get an M3? It might have got an M, or did it get an M4? See, this is really sad. I do this for a living. This is my job, is to keep up with this stuff, and I can't. I can't keep up with all the changes because Apple just keep changing things and keep moving so fast, which is, a good problem to have, I guess. Better than not. So what have we got? Oh, yeah. Oh, so it is M4 Max. That's right. They did that weird update where they went to M3 Ultra and M4 Max. So we hadn't actually seen an M4 Max, did we? They just skipped over that. So I think this time around, now that we know that they've got the M5 Max in the MacBook Pro, my prediction will be when they refresh the Mac Studios, which are a beast of a machine. I love my Mac Studio. Look at all those ports. Look at that connectivity. Second to none. Actual networking. Real USB-A. I know. I'm excited by the fact that it has the HDMI, the headphones, and the USB-A. They're like, but they've got 4 high-speed Thunderbolt ports, Johns. And I'm like, USB-A. I want my USB-A. Because I just got stuff that doesn't need anything but USB-A. You don't want to do that. Yeah, that's what you do. So you go into the settings and you set it as fixed. Yes, the big cube, I know. It looks pretty comical. Like sitting here on my desk, like I'm used to it now, but when I first got it, because I had the Mac Mini, which was, sort of sleek and kind of like, and then you get the Mac, like this big extruded Mac Mini. It looks kind of comical, but it's all good. So the MacBook Neo is kicking ass and taking names. Literally. Kicking PC ass, taking names. Acer, Asus, HP, and Lenovo. So a bunch of folks, including Macworld here, but a bunch of folks have done all these testing where they've checked it all out, $599 MacBook Neo, and they've put them up against like all the Chromebooks, all the PC laptops, and is crushing them. It is really, really, really good. And here's the thing. My comment section was pretty funny. When I did the videos, when I do a video where it's like me and my music, people are usually pretty nice. And if I look at the ratio of thumbs up to thumbs down, if I do a video that's just me doing music, it's almost always 100%, maybe sometimes 99%, 98%. There's always a couple of turds that ruin the pool, right? That are in there when you're swimming around. But the vast majority of folks are just like, hey, look at this guy. Even if I don't like his music, I support him. Soon as I cover Apple... So the last 2 weeks, my ratio of likes to dislikes has gone from like 99.5% to like 93 because so many people are just, oh, if he says anything good about Apple, he's an Apple fanboy, so I'm going to dislike it. And I'm like, dude, and I do say dude, could be dudette, but, it's dude. Life's too short to be seeking out content about things you don't like just so that you can get angry about them and dislike them. Go like what you like. Go find things. Go touch the grass. Go do all the cliched things. But I really look. It's the internet. I get it. But I'm very sad actually. I get angry and then I laugh at them and then eventually it just turns into pure pity and sadness where I'm like, oh fella, oh did you not get enough hugs? Oh did Daddy leave? Did Daddy go to the store for cigarettes and never come back? Oh I'm very sorry. And I know I say that and it's probably legitimately the case for some of these folks. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing. It's a bad thing. But yeah, again, it's the way we protect ourselves, isn't it? By doing that. No, imagine living to tell everyone what you dislike 24/7. You like the voice. Yeah, you come here for the news, you stay here for the impressions and accents and voices, right? And yeah, hit the like. Why not? Hit the like, because I need my ego to be gently stroked and caressed every day. That's why I became a YouTuber. Oh, man. All right. So iOS 26.4, iPadOS 26.4. I have literally just yesterday updated... Crunch, updated my old iPad Pro 2020, which feels weird because it's 6 years old. I'm like, I thought this thing was really new. It's the A12 chip, so it's a little long in the tooth. So I have just updated this to the beta of 26.4. A few folks have been telling me that they've been having issues with things like exporting in GarageBand, as well as other glitches and bugs and things in like Logic Pro. So I'm going to take one for the team and I'm going to check it out. My advice to you is do not update to the beta. Do not go on to any beta programs ever. There you go. Because we're basically beta testers anyway. Like the way Apple is just throwing stuff out now with 26, you're beta testing the full release version. So don't be a double beta tester, right? So interestingly, Apple's bold new look, how iOS 26.4 changes every icon on your phone. Goodbye, liquid glass. So it's funny that 26 came out and the big back of the box feature, which, you know, nothing comes in a box anymore. But remember when you used to get the back of the box features where you'd look at the front and it'd be, ooh, new software. And then you'd flip it over and be like, here's all the rad stuff you get in this software. Yeah, the back of the box feature of 26 was liquid glass. Yes, we're changing the way everything looks. We've changed all the icons. It's going to be all shimmery and it's definitely not going to distract you and use up way more processing power. And slowly, over 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and now 0.4, they gave you accessibility ways to remove. They're like, well, if it really causing you issues, go to the accessibility menu and turn it off there. And then they shifted it into just the display menu. They're like, well, a lot of people have been asking to turn this off. And now the latest version seems to be that, it almost is encouraging you. It's like, we know this is kind of crap. So we're going to make it really easy for you to turn off liquid glass, which, hey, that's a thing because I turn it off straight away. But then again, I'm a function over form guy. A lot of people think that, oh, you like Apple, you must be like, ooh, look at the style of your phone and oh, you love the camera array and oh, I love flexing all my... No. If this thing was twice as heavy and twice as thick, but it had a freaking headphone jack and a Thunderbolt port on board, I'd be all in. Same with my iPad. Like... Does anyone really need an iPad that's like that thin? Like that, you could cut yourself. You could give yourself like a paper cut on how thin that is. I don't need that. I'm function over form. So for me, I turn off the bells and the whistles. You should have seen my Windows, mate. Back when I was a Windows user, hands up who's like installed Windows more times than they would care to admit. Everything from 95, Media Center Edition, Vista, 98 SE, XP, obviously, Windows 7. I was there every one. And you know what I did every time? I had like a checklist of things to do. So you install Microsoft Windows, right? You go in there, you disable Media Player, get that out of here. You grab VLC, you install that. You grab a codec pack, you install that because you definitely haven't downloaded a bunch of videos from various sites and need all the codecs to decode it and to play it. You go into your file manager and you turn off all the different effects. You make sure you can see your file extensions because I need to know my file extensions. Man, stop hiding my file extensions. You go into the My Documents folder and you say, no, I'm not storing stuff on my freaking desktop, and you put it on your second drive because, of course, you've partitioned and you've F-disked your drive so that you've got one drive that's pure operating system drive, and then you've got another drive that's all your applications, and then you've got a third partition on there, of course, because you've got to have all of your media separated, and then you shift all that crap off there. You get rid of all of the spyware and adware and all the stuff that comes in there, and that's what I do. And part of that is also you turn off the glass, the aero effect. You turn off the animations. You make the mouse cursor not have like the nice glimmering sheen. You get it back to basically basics. And that's what I did for 20 years. So I'm glad. I say all that to say thank you, Apple, for making it easy for me to take all of your hard work and all the shininess and remove it and turn it back into something good. The good old days. Exactly right. Yeah. And then I discovered, Zule had his iPhone. Then I discovered CCleaner, which is rad. Later, can you explain the flex and follow feature and all its features setting? Is it the same as quantized? Good question. I'll flag it. If we have time, I will explore it. You know what the funny thing is, Solrak, is I've never played with the flex and follow much at all. I showed it when Logic Pro first came out, but I kind of don't use it. Maybe I'll use it on this new project. Maybe it's something that I can try out. But because I've been a GarageBand user for so long, a lot of these features that Logic Mac users take for granted, I just simply have never used and never explored personally. So I will, yeah, I'll attempt to, but I'll have to look it up. I'll honestly have to go in and see what it does and ask it. So I would go and find. In fact, let's see who's covered this. I know it's a lazy way. They're like, John, you're a YouTuber. You should be doing this. Yeah, I'm gonna say, Logic Pro, iPad Flex, and follow. Let's see. Someone cool's probably covered it. This duty, Sound for More tutorials. He does a good job. He does good work. So I would go and watch that. I would go and watch him because Sound for More tutorials. He covers all this sort of stuff. And he does it. Look, what have I done there? I've fixed guitar type. No, that's nothing to do with it. That's quantization. But yeah, so go watch that. But you don't get the full, apparently. So Patrick's video here, not on the iPad. iPad's missing features. So the proper flex pitch that has all the bells and whistles that you get on Logic for Mac is not actually that. Yeah, it is different. It's different from quantize because all quantize is doing, and quantize is shifting the attack, so it's shifting the point. Flex, I believe, will actually change over time. So you can do things, for instance, I did show you my, thank you, Thomas, thank you for the link. Rather, you can explain it better, and I don't fall asleep. Look, it's going on the list. What I'll do, because I do need some topics for this week, is I'm going to grab my topic list here, which because last week I did the video about actually I did buses and sends, and then I did the one about I can't remember what I did this week. If you saw it, you saw it. But I'm going to add it to here. So Logic Pro Flex. Whoops. Flex pitch. I will cover it. Flex pitch and yeah, because you can. So what I did do in this project is I used see the tempo track there. If you saw my 90-minute marathon session, see how that tempo drops right down there in this track. I actually used my guitar track and measured the tempo. So you could basically come in here and you can say, right, this one, tempo, you can analyze the tempo, and then you can apply that tempo to the project. So that's where that flex time comes in with tempo. So it means that it changes. And the way it represents these on your tempo track is with actual tempo changes. So you can see each one of these dots is a different tempo. So it starts at the one, what is it? It starts at 118, and then it's like slow, 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 and then back up because it finishes. So pitch, I believe, does the same sort of thing. But I don't know. I've never bothered playing. I don't think. Okay, tell me. Am I just an old man yelling at clouds here? But I never want to change. Like people say to me, "Oh, I want to change the tempo of this sample or this loop. I want to change the pitch of this sample or this sound." I don't ever reckon it sounds good enough. And I don't say that to judge or to say anyone's bad if they do use it or if they do choose to use it. But I more of a just get it right at the source. And I've never heard anything. So there's a whole bunch of different plugins and a whole bunch of different techniques and ways to change tempo and to change pitch. It always adds artifacts. It always doesn't sound quite right. And it stands out and bugs me so much that I don't like it. So, yeah. And yeah, look, if it depends on the music. I guess it's the music I'm creating. So if you were creating like a fully loaded sample-based thing and you just wanted a particular sample, you wanted to bring in this one drum loop and it happened to be that it's just 2 beats per minute faster than what you need, and then you use the flex time to line it up to your project, yeah, I get that. But if you're bringing in vocal samples and then it's a C, but you're pitching it up to an E, you're not so much. Yeah, exactly. That's spot on. See, as usual, Thomas Christ has answered in one sentence what it took me 5 minutes to try and explain. Depends on what you're going for and how far that is from the original. So yeah, if you're trying to pitch something octaves or entire tones, you're going to get some artifacting. It's not going to sound great. Same with your speed. But if you're doing, and look, if you're doing it for effect, and if you're doing heavily affected music, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I've used Apple loops for ages, and Apple loops will conform to what in GarageBand, they'll conform to whatever tempo your GarageBand project is. So it can sound okay. In GarageBand iOS or macOS, when using a MIDI keyboard, can I play everything live? Yes, you can. play everything live. So if you, in terms of if you, and I've done this, so I did a happy hour once where I just simply used the GarageBand. I opened up a track in GarageBand. I'll show you. I'll show you what I did. So all I did was opened up a track in GarageBand, plugged in a MIDI keyboard, and fired up a keyboard sound. So I was just using the piano. So more sounds, keyboards. I grabbed the classical grand, which is my favorite piano. And with my MIDI keyboard, I just played it. And it works well. So yeah, you 100% can do that. A lot of people do it. For Mac, MainStage is the app that's very much designed exactly to do this. So if you look up MainStage, and I think I was saying before that the MacBook Neo, speaking of the Neo, I think would be like an amazing little MainStage machine, because you don't need a whole lot of processing power to run especially a single instrument like that. So I reckon that's going to be a thing. Emilio, flex and follow is what we need for this, such as quantize audio regions and change the project tempo so the audio regions, except Apple loops, will follow the tempo. Yeah. Anything Arturia is good. Keylab Mark III. Yep. I don't use Arturia stuff. I don't need the bells and the whistles. I use and recommend M Audio, but yeah, you can't go wrong with Akai, M Audio, Arturia, Roland, Casio, if you want more synthesizer stuff. Just don't buy the no brand stuff off of Amazon, because I haven't had like Donna do okay stuff, but if it doesn't have a brand name and you're getting it from I get these ads from like Temu, and it's like, oh, it's your lucky day, get this Temu guitar for just $5, and I'm like, no. I mean, I'd do it for the lulz. It would be, in fact, tell me, should I buy a $5 Temu guitar? Maybe not. But if, for instance, and here's the problem. I have this problem with Amazon all the time. You're searching for something and you have to wade through all the things that you don't want it to be before you get to the thing that you do want. So I'm just going to change my 50701. I have this, Waterloo, Iowa is where I live in the United States. whenever I need to do something, because it's got a similar like zip code to one. It's not exactly my zip code, but it's similar. So, and when I first signed up to Netflix back in the day, you had to have a US address. So I decided I was going to live in Waterloo. I couldn't escape if I wanted to. By the way, that's a horrendous song, ABBA's Waterloo. It's all about like spousal abuse. Listen to it. Trust me. Actually, don't listen to it. But yeah, if you come in here and you type MIDI keyboard into your machine here, oh, it's not so bad anymore. Okay, this is pretty good. They must have either had complaints or people that buy MIDI keyboards know what they're buying these days. But you can see here you got like the MIDI Plus. Like what's MIDI Plus? But look, people are like, oh look, it's only $39. Whereas if you buy something like from Akai or from M Audio, you're paying like $100. Surely for less than half the price, it must be exactly the same quality and features. Surely, but no. So yeah, basically you don't need to buy the greatest. But again, yeah, look, the Donnas are okay. But again, you're not going to get the sort of quality that you're going to get from an Akai. Novation make good stuff too. I've had a lot of folks tell me that their Novations, the launch keys, that they love those. So yeah, Arturia, Akai, Novation, M Audio, all the ones that basically pop up here. So there you go. I came in here expecting Amazon to do one thing and it did another. Just don't go search a microphone or you'll get all of those microphone starter kit. You get a condenser microphone, you get a stand, you get a pop filter, you get an XLR cable, and it will all last you about 5 minutes. So you do not want that, in my opinion. Not exactly Sweetwater prices. That's it. There you go. Trevor Bear, recommended by a bear. Rawr. You can't go wrong when a bear recommends things. Those bears know how to have a good time. Where are we at with our news and notes? We do love our tangents around here. So yeah, 26.4, we shall see what that brings. We also have the new studio displays. And interestingly, some folks have started doing the tear downs of this new gear, which I find pretty funny that let's go out and buy brand new gear and then break it, rip it apart. So if you didn't know, the Apple Studio displays actually have the A19 and A19 Pro chips. Yeah, so if you think, oh, the MacBook Neo, that's really weird that they put this iPhone chip in a MacBook. They've been putting them in their monitors for years. Because if you think what a monitor has to do, it has to be able to do a whole bunch of processing, especially if it's doing like HDR video processing. So they use the A19 and the A19 Pro, and each display has 128 gigabytes of NAND storage. So it's just interesting. The old ones had 64, and they were based on an older iPhone chip that had a minimum specs of 64 gigs of RAM. Now, because there's virtually nothing out there, in fact, it's 256 now for pretty much everything. But this is obviously using up the A19 and A19 Pro chips that they had, and they've probably binned as well, which means they've probably reduced one or more of the GPU and CPU cores. Don't worry if you don't know what that means. It just means that they produce a chip, and if everything's working perfectly, that goes into their newest, highest end stuff. And if you've ever seen the thing with, oh, there's two models, one with 8-core GPU and one with 7-core GPU, you're like, that's weird. Why would they specifically make a chip with 7 cores and not 8? They don't. They make them all with 8 cores, and if there's one that's slightly faulty, but everything else is perfect, they just disable. They flick it off. They turn off that core. It's like if you buy a dozen eggs, and then they sell them as a 10-pack because 2 of them got cracked. It's exactly what the binning process is like. But instead of delicious eggs, it's computer chips. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting that people are getting all like, wow, I can't believe they're using these iPhone chips for something else. They've been doing it for ages. They've been doing it for a long time. Who's in the market? Who's excited about the new iPhone 18 coming out in September? Well, you better start saving now because ain't going to be cheap. So, according to a Forbes report, a new report suggests that the prices may raise again with the iPhone 18 Pro lineup. And look, it's happening everywhere now. The increase may be linked to new hardware features and component costs. And yes, Apple have started. They did a pretty good job. Look, again, I know I'm an Apple fanboy because everyone will jump in and accuse me of that in the comments anyway, so I might as well just do it. But they've done a pretty good job. Of all the companies, like think of all the things that you've bought between 2019 and now. So think pre-pandemic to 2026, that 7-year window. My Google Premium, my YouTube Premium has gone from $17.99 to $35.99. So it's nearly doubled. My Apple One has gone from, I think, $49 up to $59. So that's a 20% increase. That is Apple, but that's services. My Netflix has gone from, I think, $11.99 to $15.99. My Disney Plus keeps going up. My insurance has gone up. Basically, everything, despite the fact that inflation is here, all the increases, especially for technology and tech services, have been much higher than that. That's why I give kudos to places like DistroKid, who have gone, in the last 10 years, sorry, frog in the throat, from $20 to $25. And they went sort of 20, 22, 25. It's such a small increase. And Apple have done a pretty good job of keeping their products, especially their flagship products, at the same price. But we saw with the MacBook Air, $999 popped up to $1099. And they said, oh, but you get extra storage. Yeah, fair enough. The same thing I think is going to happen. I think your iPhone 18 Pro will almost definitely come with a minimum of 512 gig of storage, and then they'll say, "Oh, it's not the 256 price from last year. It's this price." So, yeah, they're hiding that behind. And I mentioned it before with the Apple configurations. The reason that they give you this base configuration that's not quite enough is so that they can sell you on the upgrades, because that's where they make bank. Because it does not cost them $200 to add an extra 256 gig of storage. And it does not cost them $200 to go from 16 gig to 24 or 32 gig of RAM. But they'll charge you that. So the margins in the add-ons are a lot higher. And the same with services. That's why I mentioned my Apple One before. The margins in the services are a lot higher than the margins in hardware. So that's what they'll try and sell you on. That's it. Alrighty. If my 2R2 Gen 3 is 24-bit only and my settings on my Logic are 32 bits float, is it really recording that quality or no? If not, what do you recommend? No, it's not. So 32-bit float has to be supported by your hardware as well as the software. If your software is set to 32-bit float, but you're recording on 24-bit hardware, it's recording 24-bit audio. In my experience, 24-bit 44.1, I think it's the sweet spot still. Some people have said, no, you're going to move on 96 kilohertz, 192 kilohertz. We got the processing power, we got the storage space. Why not? And the same with 32-bit float. It's all going to use more space, right? Because the higher the bit depth, the higher the sample rate. If you don't know what any of these means, if you search Pete Johns bit rate, bit depth, sampling rate, I've got some videos that tell you all about it. But the short version is, the higher it is, the better quality, the more samples. So sampling rate is how many samples per second are taken. So the more snapshots of your audio, of that analog audio are taken with digital audio, the smoother it's going to be. And look, when we went from 8 kilohertz to 16 to 22.1 to 44.1, that was important. That was big changes because 8 kilohertz is not enough. 8,000 samples is not enough of a sample rate. That's where you get that, like, think of like AM radio kind of sound, that crackly, like distorted, but not in a good way. That's the sound you get with 8 kilohertz. Going up, and the same with bits, like 8-bit, 16-bit. You remember these terms, right? Because that is the bit depth. That's how much dynamic range there is. So 8-bit was terrible. 16-bit was acceptable. That's what CDs are, by the way. CDs are 16-bit, 44.1 kilohertz. 24-bit, I think, is the sweet spot around processing power needed, around file size, and around audio quality. I think that 24-bit, 44.1. And people will argue, some will say 48 kilohertz, why not? Because that's the DVD standards that we used to use for video. So if you're doing video stuff, it should be 48. It really doesn't matter. This is the thing. Don't get caught in the weeds of whether 24 or 32-bit is better. Don't get caught in the weeds of 44.1 or 48. They're the arguments that you can let people have in forums online while you're making freaking music, right? It really doesn't make enough difference. It's like Mac versus PC. Who cares? Don't care. Make music. Android versus iOS. Who cares? Don't care. Make music. Yeah. I'm not saying that to jump in on Soulrack. It's a relevant and a good question. It's all 32-bit float once the audio gets to the door, but it's just unsampled if the recording was from it. Yeah, exactly. Spot on. Would theoretically be better for export, but it's not well supported yet. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, and it's what, again, it's why I say uncompressed wave, 24-bit, 44.1. Every platform, everywhere can support that. You can upload that to your Bandcamp, to your SoundCloud, to your YouTubes, to your DistroKids for distribution. Every single place. If you're sharing files, if you're sharing audio with other people, everything supports 24-bit. Gasoline, petroleum, $1.20 more than last week. Yeah, I was out driving today and dropping the kids off at school. And 2 weeks ago, before things, $1.59 per litre, which was about average price here. $2.29 now per litre. And weirdly enough, we're shopping for an electric at the moment. I'm like, oh no, we're not going to be able to get a good deal because every man and his dog's going to be out shopping for a small EV now because we want to got solar panels and we've got excess sort of solar every day, and we're like, oh, we could totally just cover most of the cost of driving around. Except now, the prices are going to go up of those too. Why? Because businesses want to make money and they want to capitalize and double down on everything. Remember the pandemic? Remember what supermarkets were doing? Remember the pricing and the structures of different things? Toilet paper went up and hand sanitizer was low supply. Supply and demand, people. There were people buying like 4 packs of toilet paper on Amazon for $20. It was stupid. And it's stupid again. Litre, gallons. Yeah, look, it's not good. And we pay the Australia tax. Our money's not worth as much as yours, but it's still rough. News. We're still on the news and notes, aren't we? Oh, this show's always my favourite show of the week. I mean, I love every show that I do. I love Your Music Live. I love doing the happy hour, but just having a rat, doing some voices, chat with you folks, answering questions by not answering questions, all that stuff. Hello, T Soups. G'day to you. Hello to anyone who has jumped in and said, if you're here, say g'day, hit the thumbs up button or hit the thumbs down button. You know what? I'm a big boy. I can handle it if you don't like what I do here. But can I just strongly suggest, as we said before, to scroll past, find something else to do if you don't like what I do here. It's so weird. Again, I know, I won't labour the point again, but the concept of hate watching something to anger up the blood. Relax, guy. What are you doing? All right. So Apple's M5 Max on the MacBook Pro 16 is around 15% faster compared to the MacBook Pro 14, which is interesting, isn't it? The MacBook Pro 16 is noticeably better. Performance is stable, fans are quieter. So basically all the numbers here point to the fact that, you want the M5 Max. But interestingly, the 16, as opposed to the 14-inch, you wouldn't think there'd be any difference, right? Yeah, look, car ads. I'm getting car ads everywhere because I'm looking at cars. But yeah, I just sort of found that interesting that Apple find a way to sneak a little bit more power into their 16-inch. And why is that? Well, it's usually to do with cooling. It's usually to do with the lack of throttling that you get in a larger laptop. So if you're looking for the maximum amount of power, and you're like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I want the form factor size of a 14-inch. I don't want to get the 16-inch. You will always eke out a little bit more power with a larger device, except the fanless ones. So if you're thinking, oh, well, then the MacBook Air must be the same between the 13 and the 15, less so. Maybe slightly, because there's a little bit more space within the case to cool things, but without a fan, because basically if the fan has to come on, it's starting to throttle. And the more cooling, then the less performance you're going to get. So I think a bigger chassis, I just thought it was fascinating that you get slightly. Do you know a whole lot of stuff about all this stuff, Pete? Not really. I'd make it up as I go along. Fun trivia. I hate all Apple products and never have or will have one, but I'm happily watch your reviews. You know what? I get it because I watch vintage computer tech stuff. I do not want to go to the hassle of going back to the world of DOS or buying an actual Commodore 64 and a cassette tape just for the fun of it. I'll use emulators and I'll play games that I can, like in-browser versions of games, but I'm never going to actually do the stuff. And it's really funny, isn't it? It's the same with plane spotting. I'm not really interested in aviation. I don't want to learn to fly, but I love watching planes take off and land. It's just fascinating to me. And I'm never going to go on like big train journeys across the USA. I watched a Simon Wilson video the other day where he spent 72 hours on an Amtrak train going from coast to coast across the USA, and I love that video. It's nothing to do with anything that I want to do, but just watching someone else do something different and interesting. And I think it also, by watching something that is not your bag and it's not in your wheelhouse, it does expand. I think too often we get caught in this narrow zone of just our own stuff, and you kind of surround yourself with people that only think and only agree. So I love this community because we got people using Windows, we got people using Pro Tools, we got people using Android devices, and people say to me, why do these people come and watch your shows? And I'm like, because I am just that entertaining. And super duper humble as well. Alrighty. Now, have I got everything? Looking for an interface that supports 32. Yeah, so the newer interfaces all have your 32-bit float. But if you got you can upgrade or update. I wouldn't rush to do it. That's it. There you go. If you're Ableton, I'd have hundreds of watch hours on you. You know who uses Ableton that I'm really impressed with is I cannot remember her name now. I had her on the oh no, that's really embarrassing. She's an Australian artist that creates in Ableton, and she runs a group for like women in recording. Oh, I'm so bad at remembering names. Anyway. Pete's Storytime stream. Yeah, if you were on the member stream yesterday, you heard all about the unfortunate demise of my first car. It blew up. If you want to know the story, you'll have to become a member. There's your tease. All right, I can't show. Oh, that's behind a paywall. All right, I'll just talk to it. I tried to show the article, but it's like says, "Oh no, this is behind a paywall, Johns," and I'm like, oops. I guess when I put these links into my search engine AI optimizer, it read the articles. Now I feel a bit guilty. But Canva, our old mate Canva. If you didn't know, Canva is an Australian company. Comes out of Western Australia here in WA, and is reportedly preparing layoffs. Why? Because it's expanding its AI capabilities. Of course it is. Yeah, the company's been integrating AI-driven design tools and automation features into its platform, and the move highlights the broader tech industry shift towards AI-focused product development. So, if you're not a Canva user and you don't know what Canva is all about, Canva is a design website. It's like Photoshop in a web browser, basically, but a lot easier to use. So if you come over here, let's check out mine. I don't think there's anything that you can't see. So yeah, I create all my thumbnails, all my images, all my social media posts, everything I do it for you. Now, everything I do in Canva. And what we've been finding is if you come in here to the more stuff in Canva, nope, it's not there. But basically everything you do, we have to go into we'll go into one. Let's go into my after party of me feeding the birds. Feed the birds. So yeah, there's all of this stuff now. So originally, there's all these different AI image generators and AI updates and automated. Like you come in here to edit something, and it's like, oh, you want me to use Magic Studio to adjust that for you? Do you want me to auto adjust it? And look, a lot of this stuff is cool. So things like the background remover, the background generator, magic eraser, magic expander, all that sort of stuff is cool. But it's gone from thing to thing to thing. Oh, image to video. Let's see if I can turn myself into that. Generate a 3-second video. See now, this is how they get you, isn't it? They jump in here and then you sort of get interested. Will it show the birdie eating my nuts? You heard me. Yeah, look, of all the AI, I don't love all of the different AI stuff, obviously, but of all the AI stuff that image generators have done, this version of me, I think, looks pretty rad. I think so. All right, has it done something? Oh, Jeebus. What am I saying? What's falling out of a... Why am I spinning stuff? Oh, see, this is AI at its best. This is it at work. My nuts, is that what I'm saying? Like, on what? This is the thing. If I gave this to a human designer and said, animate me a 3-second animation based on this picture, and they came back to me and they said, I assume you wanted nuts flying out of your mouth. But this is what the machines do. They're like, yeah, that makes sense. Nuts coming out your mouth. Sorry, one more time. Oh, yes, I'm spitting nuts. Oh, mate, that is ridiculous. So, yeah, sorry. It's like, can you imagine the Canva office today? It's like, Dave, can I see you in my office? Oh, yeah, sure. What's up, Steve? Dave, you're an excellent designer. You've done a lot of great work and added some really useful tools, but look at these nuts. You can't do these nuts. The machines can do these nuts, so I'm sorry. You're out on your nuts. Stop saying nuts in there. Make me vomit some nuts. Exactly. Good question. So, will I punish them? Amelia's got a great question. Are you going to use Pixelmator Pro instead of Canva to do the album for the current song that you're working on? Hey, Brett, I should, shouldn't I? It's going straight in the ideas folder. Let's do that because I do need to do album art. So maybe I will do that. So album art for Hey Brett, Pixelmator. Because yeah, I've got the Apple Creator Studio, which has Pixelmator Pro, which I've not my problem. But yeah, and I've seen like Jade's done a video on it. I've seen some other folks doing videos on it. It looks pretty good. It looks like it does all the things. My problem with new things is that my 47-year-old brain, see, it took me that long to remember how old I am. My 47-year-old brain doesn't take to change as well as it did in the past. So learning something new takes me so long, and I'm so flat out doing things. So I could whip up in Canva some album artwork in like 10 minutes. If I have to learn Pixelmator Pro to do it, it'll probably take me an hour or two. But it's a good reason to do it, isn't it? Because what I should do is spend the 2 hours, learn it myself, and then make a 10-minute video so that you can get up and running in a short period of time. There you go. So I'm going to go and I'll go and watch Jade's video and find out how to use it. I know you missed all the nut jokes, Leela. we are running low on time, but yeah, Thomas Christ recommended. Well, that's the thing. Thomas Christ doesn't know what he's done here, but when Thomas started using Ecamm Live, it was like, oh, Tom, you've used Ecamm Live now. Can I have a personal customized lesson from you so that I can start working out how to use it? So now that I know that Thomas Christ is a Pixelmator Pro, pardon the pun, I'll be knocking on Thomas's door saying, "Help me with Pixelmator." That'd be an idea for a creator town hall. I'll get Jade and I'll get Thomas and I'll get them both to show us. That'd be cool. All right, I'll put it out there. Maybe in a couple of weeks' time, I'll see if Jade and or Thomas are free and want to do that. We could do that. All goes to hell at 48, does it? There you go. I'm 67 and still learn something new every day. What's your excuse, Pete? I know it is. It's 100% making excuses, Mark. You are spot on. You've called me. I feel seen, and good. Oh, mate, too fun. All right, one more time. Okay. Brett. Hey, Brett. Maybe say, hey, Brett. Is there audio? Oh, if it's a video, does it create audio as well? No. That's even stupider. Why not give me some audio there, Canva? Alrighty. Was that all of our news and notes articles? Ooh, yeah, it was. So Canva. Boo, Canva. Keep people. And I get it. Like, I know Canva would be struggling because of things like Pixelmator Pro, because of ChatGPT, because of Google's image creation. There's a lot of other ways that you can get high-quality images without cost. I'll tell you this one interesting thing, though. My daughter is 16. That's not the interesting thing. But I was asking her about this stuff, and she created, like, we're working on a project at the moment, something that we're doing in a few weeks' time. Watch this space. And we're working on thumbnails. And I said, oh, use this picture of us. And then I basically said to ChatGPT, yeah, make a cartoon version of us and do this. And then I said, oh, take the cartoon Jasmine and put her on a plane because something to do with the plane. And it did. And I'm like, oh, doesn't that look cute? And Jasmine was like, yeah, my friends would hate it. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, to AI. So there's this, the younger folks, they're starting to really dislike the AI stuff because think about them. They're probably scrolling through so much slop now. And it's the counter revolution has begun. When the kids start doing it, the adults will get there eventually. So remember, Facebook, the kids were on Facebook and then the adults came and ruined it for them. Instagram, the kids were on Instagram, the adults came and ruined it. TikTok, the kids were on TikTok, adults came and ruined it for them. Snapchat, adults came and ruined it for them. So wherever they are now, which I don't know because I'm not cool enough to know, they're probably all doing like real stuff and they're probably all poo-pooing the AI slop that's being created. So, and I was proud. I was like, you know what she did? She said, okay, I like the image that it created of the plane, but then she got a photo of herself, did a background remove, manually cut it to the size of this plane window and put her actual photo in there. And I'm like, shit, mate, that looks so much better. That is such an improvement. She's like, yeah, because people would look at that cutesy AI picture of me and go, AI. And it's like an effort thing now. People are like appreciating the effort. And this is kids. Like, yes, the kids know what's going on. And she hates AI music too. So there is hope. There is hope still to come. How long have we got? Yeah, we've got for 15 minutes because we have, today on Frank's Community Pulse show, if you're watching here live, he's got Rock and Ronnie Ward. That's pretty rad. I haven't seen or heard of Ron for a while. There it is. That's coming up for you in 20 minutes. So this is the rare chunk of time where our time hasn't changed, but the US time has. So there's no crossover, and I basically feed you straight in to the Community Pulse. But then my times change, and we do this one even later. For folks, and we do crossover. So over my winter and your summer, there's crossover between this show and the Community Pulse. But that's okay because the Community Pulse goes for a long time. You'll only miss the first list of shout-outs. You'll make it in time for the penists. So it's all good. It's all good. All right. So yeah, quick look in because we don't have a heap of time to work on the song today, but I did promise you at the 55-minute mark, I did promise you that we'd look at my song called Hey Brett. So let's jump over to the iPad in case you missed the last update on this one. Here it is. So let's just go through what I've done with this so far. and what my plans are from here. So drums are still very much just a metronome here, but they sound in the ballpark of what I want. I'll have to do some changes for each of these sections, but I used the drums, and this is my way of arranging a track, is to use the drums as my markers. You do have marker tracks here. If we come in here to my track headers, no, globalized tracks, global tracks. We do have markers here. I find them really crappy to use. So if you come in here, you've got to like go here and like rename, oh, lead in, and then you've got to come to here, and add and tap. Oh, and it didn't work because it has a bug where sometimes it doesn't work and you have to do it twice. Yeah. So basically, I say all of that to say I don't use markers in Logic Pro. I find them crappy. They're grey. You can't color code them. They're just no bueno. And you can't rearrange them anyway. So they're kind of redundant and pointless if you're wondering why I don't use markers. But I do just use my drummer metronome track that I create, and then I name, as you can see here, I name each section. So verse 1, chorus 1, verse 2, chorus 2, etc. as we go through. So I got my metronome. I tried to create a drummer track to be a bit of a better one. It didn't work, so we'll mute it out. And then I recorded my guitar. So I've got my guitar track here. I've got my two nice room because I used the presets that came across from GarageBand. The vocal is still kind of terrible. I tried to record the vocal in that session. The problem is, here's a tip for young players. Don't do a 90-minute recording session where you're talking as you're doing it. Because, you know, when most people are recording guitars or arranging a project, they also don't have to explain everything they're doing. So for me, I got to the end, I got like 70 minutes in and I'm trying to sing and I couldn't, like my voice. So I'm going to come back and do a full vocal session in the next couple of days. I've got some ideas for some backing vocals, which I'll sort of talk about in a moment too, because I think this is going to have some nice oohs and ahs in it. Yeah, look, the markers are so shitty though. Like yeah, anyway. But I use my own markers. Scented markers, yeah. It smells like apple. So I've got my vocals there, and the rest is just sort of experimental playing around. Oh, and I did this trick. If you've never done this before, I played in a very basic drum beat, which was this here, which will play in a jiffy when it reaches the right point. And I could have used just that as my metronome, but instead I grabbed that, gave that to the drummer, and they then build, if you follow that, they build their track around that sort of groove. And that's just a quick way to get like a custom. I'm going to put that to my list. I need to do a video on that as well. Oh, Logic Pro, drums to drummer. So like it's like a half manual auto drummer. How to create a manual auto drummer. That wouldn't be a confusing title now, would it? And then we had a bunch of fun, which I actually really thought worked quite well. We used the bass to create a bass. We used the Deluxe Classic, the electronic piano, which is sort of like a Rhodes sound, and then we added a piano. And these alone, I know that the virtual instruments here, the autoplay instruments in Logic Pro, after a while, they all kind of sound like every song that uses them. It's a bit like the old Apple loops. Everyone uses Jazz Hustle Flute somewhere at some point, like everyone using these. But the cool thing is, if you customize them and if you tweak them and if you use them in some places and not others, they can sound pretty cool. And I think that with just a little bit of tweaking we did, this sounded pretty darn cool. So what it did is it gave it almost this accidental sort of 50s doo-wop vibe, which I didn't think about at the time. And this is where I've mentioned this before. Jade Star plays drums on a lot of the tracks that I do, especially my Song Timber songs. And Jade will play drums that are not what I was thinking of when I wrote the song. And these virtual instruments kind of do the same thing. So I'm not saying I'm keeping all of these sounds all the way through. I think that's going to be too much. But even if like the diddle diddle comes in the second verse to create some variety. In fact, let's do that right now because I'll play this back to you in a moment. But this piano, I think, would do well to come in just at the second verse. So there's the intro. If we just delete that out and we maybe bring in at the chorus and then into the second verse. So I'll play you the start of the song just so that you can get the vibe if you're brand new here. So here's your intro, which I've removed the piano from. We'll see if it works. Maybe it comes in halfway through, actually. Maybe it comes in halfway through for some variety in the intro here. Let's just try that again. Oh, sounds cool with that going. All right. I think we have a pause there. Maybe in the second verse we pause there. I'm sorry now. Hey Brett, I was a jerk. I didn't know. And then keep it going through here. You rocked up late for work. I didn't know what you were going through, and now I really do know, 'cause I've been there too. All right, so that's where I think we pause it. So I think we split out all these instruments and we do a big pause. 'Cause I've been there too. So we just play like the one chord there. So I've been there too. Let's see. Splitsville, baby. Let's see how well these overlapping notes found. Oh yeah, split. No, I didn't want to do that. Okay, that's pretty cool. So it actually tells you with the overlapping notes. All right, well, we want to. It just split it. That's all right. We'll just. This is all very experimental at this point in time. Go back to our trim. In there too. Let's see if this is gonna. There too. So, hey Brett. Not bad, but the drums have to stop too. But I won't change the drums yet because they're still just the metronome drums. Been there too. So, hey Brett. Sorry now. The thing about people in management positions is we never get trained to know what's going on. People who have. So yeah, so I need to change the structure around there because that will need a completely different drum sound and whatnot as well. Cool. Boom, whop, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Yeah, great lyrics. Has it been finished start to end structure-wise? Not quite, Jade. Not quite. So I'm still workshopping the ending. In fact, let's go to there now because I'm pretty happy with it. But there's just a few bits where I'm like, I don't know whether I need an extra bar or two in there. So we're close, but it'll be worked on this week, and then we'll get closer to that. Oh, that stuff. All right. Pop. Just fix that up. So we had, who was it? It was Professor Boomer, was it? Someone that suggested that we do a key change at the end here. So I'll just bring you down towards the end. Key change. There it is. You can hear I'm talking about it in my thing. So I really like this section with the turnaround. I haven't done a key change in anything for ages. So I'll just play you from the bridge. This is our third verse into the chorus. Yeah. I think it definitely needs like some other pad sounds, and I'm thinking strings might be it, or an organ or strings. So yeah, I definitely do that. Well, yeah, you're free at the moment. And you got some spare time. All right. Well, if I get it done today, which I should be able to do, then I'll get it over to you, Jade.
Hey Brett, sorry that I wasn't asked. Didn't mean to make you feel sad.
Yes, please, please, no double bass drum.
Told me that it was you. Now
Unless we do a punk
I'm
version
sorry
later.
to you, 'cause I didn't realise that when you have children it made you feel quite bad, and that you didn't get any sleep.
I've got to redo these
Broken
vocal
up
parts.
5 minutes late to your calls and a job, it wasn't your fault. I'm sorry, Brett.
Definitely need to work on the phrasing in that part. This is key change. Key change.
Hey, Brett. Sorry that I was a jerk.
That chord there needs to be something more interesting. It needs to be like an A flat 7th chord. Because it really needs to bridge it into there. Yeah, the key change is rad, isn't it? I'm sure it was it Professor Boomer or was it Dave who owns that? Because someone said do a key change. I'm like, totally, yeah. Because if it's going to be like a 50, 60 doo-wop vibe with a more kind of 90s folk twinge, then yeah, having that step up tone at the end, so fun. All right, what do we have to do? We have to ungroup these chords. So I'll come in and edit this one. Oh, I've got to tap off to tap just that one. All right. Edit chord. So it's A flat. We need it to be like a 7th, or is it like a major 7th? What do we reckon here? Is it just a 7? Let's just hear us with the A7. Easy in that part. Key change.
Hey, Brett. Sorry that I was a
That looked
jerk.
kind of rad the way that it just was drifting across and the chord change was just there. What do we need? Yeah, organ pattern strings counter melody. Yeah, totally. We need. Is it just a 7? It almost like needs to go A for A. So like halve it, so it kind of jung jung. But what chord would it go to? Hang on. Do you know what I mean? Are you hearing what I'm hearing? So if we do that and then we add in a chord there, it almost goes to the D. Maybe like it's a D flat 7. Let's just try this. Add 2, you reckon? Add 2, yeah. Hang on. In that part. Key change. Not that at all, is it? Because it goes to E flat. What's that crowded house chord? Yeah, it's something like that, isn't it? D flat major 7. Key change. We need to listen to just these instruments, don't we? See what they do with it. No, so it's definitely not. Maybe it's actually the E, D flat. It's an actual D, I reckon, to go do. Maybe it's the D that we want. This is not the D we want. How we going on time? 5 minutes. Sorry, this is fun. This is what I like to do. Right, no, we've changed this to an actual D. Because then it goes the D to the E. The D to the E to the... All right, let's see what this does. B flat 7? Maybe it's a B flat 7 that we do it there. Do, 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 do. You can kind of sort of tell what I'm trying here. Yeah, maybe but it's not the major 7, just the 7. So just the A flat 7 into the B flat 7. Hang on. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Thomas, you're a genius. Thomas and Bear. I knew between our brains that we'd have that. There you go. Emilio got it too. Yeah, 100%. All right. That's brilliant. That's exactly what was in my head. This is the thing. You could say, oh, you used AI to make this song. Yeah. Yeah. Hang on. I do have it on the 7th now, don't I? Not the major. Yeah. So it says major 7, but it's not the major 7. It's just as in like not minor 7. It's confusing, isn't it? The whole major 7 versus 7. So yes, it is. It is just a straight 7th. Let's bring it all back in here. Easy as that part. Key change.
Hey Brett,
I have to redo the guitar too.
I was a jerk.
Yeah, thank you. If I had the MIDI keyboard, it would have helped.
That little baby at home, but now I know what to do, and that the actual problem was.
All right. Yeah, and the final thing here is I just have to polish this ending.
So, hey Brett, I hope you're doing better now.
So none of these will be there. So we'll just remove all of that because none of these instruments will be playing. It'll just go back to guitar there, I reckon.
So, hey Brett, I hope you're doing better now.
And obviously the drums won't be there either. All right. Rad. So yeah, this is an example of where I think when I first recorded this in GarageBand, there was someone on the streams like, why are you recording in GarageBand? And I'm like, because I like GarageBand. I'm like, it's fun. But yeah, GarageBand's my spirit. By the way, well, you weren't using that voice. But yeah, GarageBand, the reason I started GarageBand is it's just grab and go. It's just bang, 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 bang. Like it's really easy to not let, the tool doesn't get in the way of the creativity. But when you reach this point, the arranging and the mixing and then the complete recording, I think you are better off in Logic Pro because you can do rad things like bring in session player instruments. All right, let's just, we'll listen to this from the start just to see how it's all coming here. Hear this little stop section.
Going through and now I really do know, 'cause I've been there too. So, hey Brett, sorry now. The thing about people in management positions is we never get.
All right. Note for Jade Star. I think you know this, but that's got to be a snare kick, snare kick, snare kick, like the bridge section there. Yeah, because it's going to be like happy folky, like then it's going to be jinka 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 jinka. But yeah, not telling you how to do your job, but if you do want to do the drums, feel free, and I'll try and get this to you later. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. We are at the end of the show. I'm going to send you straight over to Mr. Frankie Terzo. He's got Rock and Ronnie Ward on the Community Pulse here today. A featured artist is Ron Ward, A Strange Machine. Featured co-host is Mazen Music Lab. Mate, Mazen. Oh, that's fabulous. I'll be watching for sure. That is cool. So I didn't know that. I didn't see who the co-host was. So that is going to be good. If you know who Maze End is, yeah, you'll be in for a treat. All right, thanks so much for being here, folks. Thanks for all of your help and your support. Hit the thumbs up button on the way out if you haven't already. And what do we say at the end of each and every show? Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to others. Keep creating. I'll see you real soon. Bye for now.